greets us. Hey everyone, welcome back to Fiction. I'm your host Subhankar and I just greeted you in High Valyrian. We are back again with another fictional language and today we are going to look briefly at High Valyrian, the native language of the people of Valyria, like the Targaryens and their ilk. Like the Dothraki language, High Valyrian was created by David J. Peterson, who has put down some notes about the process in this book. So we will explore some of that and a few other stuffs. But before we begin, take a few seconds of your time and hit the like button if you have enjoyed the video. And if you haven't done it yet, please consider subscribing. Let me start how the language came to be. Back in 2012, when David Peterson was called to create the High Valyrian for season 3 of Game of Thrones, there existed only some proper names and 6 words for High Valyrian. These words came from the books itself and later George R. R. Martin provided 2 phrases with literal translation. And I think we can guess what those 2 phrases are. Vala Morgulis and Vala Doharis. Peterson also wanted to preserve the spellings used in the books, and thus he started developing the language from the handful of words that he was given. Before we go into the technicalities, let us look into the history of the language and its inspiration. High Valyrian is the language of the Valyrian freehold and it is ancient. Long before the events of A Song of Ice and Fire, the Valyrians conquered vast lands like the Giscari Empire. However, due to some unknown cataclysmic event, the Valyrian freehold was totally wiped out, and so was the High Valyrian language. Although the language did offshoot into several branches and dialects, which came to be known as bastard Valyrian tongues. This is a chart of all the known Valyrian languages. You may pause and have a good look. What's interesting is that the history of Valyria is based on the history of the Roman Empire. Thus, High Valyrian was envisioned to be somewhat similar to Latin and its daughter languages, to bear similarity with French, Spanish that descended from Latin. In the same vein, some also consider High Valyrian to be more of a scholarly and liturgical language, spoken mainly by the nobility. High Valyrian follows a subject-object-verb order. English follows a subject-verb-object order. For example, in High Valyrian we have the following sentence: Vala abre urnes. But in English, it would be man sees woman. When it comes to pronouns, High Valyrian is a pro-drop language. A pro-drop language is where certain pronouns can be omitted when the subject referred to is grammatically inferable. English is not a pro-drop language because we use pronouns everywhere. However, High Valyrian is not 100% pro-drop language because pronouns do exist. They are Nike for the first person I, Au for second person you, and Ziri for the third person she or he. Here we are talking about the grammatical numbers that the nouns agree to or possess. High Valyrian has 4 numbers: singular, plural, collective, and vocal. I think singular and plural are easy to understand. So let us look into collective. You see, there were 2 phrases at the start: Vala Morgulis and Valar Doharis. Valar meaning all men, where Vala in High Valyrian means men. But Valar is one single noun and it means all men, which is more than just being a plural form. So, all was to be encoded into the Valar, and thus the collective number was created. A collective is singular in nature but represents a cohesive individual unit. Interestingly, in High Valyrian the collective of a noun, which ends with a suffix r, as in Valar, has more tendency to refer to female or both the genders. What I mean is, Muna is mother while Munar is parents. That includes both the genders. Likewise, Abra means woman and Abrar means all people. Rina means girl while Rinar means children. Do you see the pattern now? Vocals ends with an N suffix and means a few or some. This can be a little complicated and hence are much rarer than collectives. Let us talk about gender in High Valyrian. But what I mean is about grammatical gender and not biological gender. Confused? Let me clarify a little. In linguistics, gender refers to the classification of nouns and a more special form of what is called a noun class. And most of the times, gender and noun class are synonymous. So I will try to explain it the same way. Noun class is how a language categorizes nouns, and a criteria that one could use could be like animate versus inanimate objects or masculine versus feminine. In English, we have masculine and feminine gender, which also coincides with the biological gender. The German language has 3 grammatical genders: masculine, feminine, and neuter. But the language that is widely known for its noun class or grammatical gender is Djirbel, which is an Australian Aboriginal language. Djirbel has 4 noun classes. 1 for animate objects and men, 2nd for woman, water, fire, violence, and exceptional animals, third for edible fruits and vegetables, and the fourth for miscellaneous. Getting a hang of this gender or noun class concept might take some little time. But for now, let us come back to High Valyrian. High Valyrian has 4 genders. They categorize nouns as lunar, solar, terrestrial, and aquatic. Words for human beings are solar or lunar. This is the same for most animate and countable nouns. Names of occupations are often solar, and same as body parts too. The names for foodstuffs and plants are often terrestrial. Names of liquids and water bodies are frequently aquatic. Names of military equipment are often lunar, and names of metals are usually terrestrial. Based on this rule, you may have seen that Missandei, the High Valyrian translator, pointed out an error about the prince that was promised, which was originally narrated in High Valyrian. Everyone believed it to be a male, but High Valyrian is gender neutral, so the prince in High Valyrian could either be a male or a female. Let me limit the technical aspect till here. Verbs in High Valyrian can get a little complex, and I will save that for another video. For now, let us look into the Low Valyrian languages. The Giscari group of languages comprises of Astapori, Yunkish, and Merines Valyrian, of which Astapori and Yunkish are nearly identical to each other, while Merines has a fundamentally similar grammar but a very different pronunciation. Giscari Valyrian has merged the solar and lunar genders into the celestial gender, and the aquatic and the terrestrial gender into the terrestrial gender. Daenerys Targaryen speaks both the High Valyrian and the Low Valyrian dialect. In Season 3, she says Jaldrizis Buzdari Ixos Daol, which means a dragon is not a slave, before commanding the dragon to torch the city. She uses the Low Valyrian Merines word for slave, that is Buzdari, showing the slave master that she understood all the insults in Merines Valyrian. So that is it for this video on High Valyrian. I will be back again with more videos with in-depth content on this language, like verbs, tenses, etc. How does that sound? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching this video. Remember to like and subscribe. Geros Ilias Undegon Au Aderi. Bye and see you soon.